You guys see me doing the Trump dance on the show every single day. And now the viral Trump dance is taking over the NFL and sports in general. And it's basically become a trend where every time they make a touchdown, they're going to be doing the Trump dance. And it's not seen as political anymore.
Yeah, that's what I think is the... Hold on here. That's what I think is the biggest difference here. So what they're comparing it to, and I guess on its outset, it's fair to at least make a tangential comparison, is to Colin Kaepernick taking a knee back in 2019 or whatever it was. And they're saying, like, look, when that happened, everybody complained about it being political. And now people are doing Trump dances, and suddenly the people who said keep politics out of sports aren't complaining. My point is that one is fun and the other one is not. And I think it's really that simple. Joy.
Actually, they're injecting joy into the arena.
There was
sports.
A quote. So what was it? It was Brock, or it was Nick Bosa says, all the guys wanted me to do it. It's fun. He says, I wasn't going to do the dance. All the guys wanted me to do it. It's fun. And that's the difference. Like, when somebody takes the knee in regards to social justice, in regards to police reform, and trust me, you're not going to hear me say that we don't need some type of police reform. I think there's plenty of examples in this country of bad policing. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's kind of akin to when we were talking about the actress who just decides to drop the feminist statement in the middle of the interview with all the bros the other day. How do you pronounce her name?
Saoirse Ronan.
She makes the feminist statement that has completely nothing to do with the vibe of the discussion that was being had at the time, meaning know a time and place. And they've rejected the idea of no politics in sports largely to begin with when it says end racism in the end zone of the NFL. So if they're going to have the killjoy version of politics in the NFL, I say why not also have the fun dancing version of politics in the NFL?
Yeah, so they're all doing the YMCA dance. It started with the 49ers' Nick Boas last week, who celebrated sacking the Dolphins quarterback by performing the Trump dance, and now others have joined in. Also, everyone saw this video of Brock Bowers from the Raiders doing a little Trump dance after a touchdown in Miami, and he actually got interrogated about this after the fact. Here in this interview, he said, I've seen everyone do it. I watched the UFC last night and Jon Jones did it. I like watching UFC, so I saw it and I thought it was cool.
Also, people are kind of ignoring the fact that the big issue they had was it was being done during the national anthem.
Colin Kaepernick.
You mean
the
when
kneeling.
Colin Kaepernick started
yes.
taking a knee, it was the disrespect that they felt was being shown towards,
Yeah, I mean, if they were doing the Trump dance during the national anthem, I think I would have a problem with that too.
Yeah.
Not that it would be making the same statement, of course, but that's not the time or place.
Chat, somebody remind me, was it Michael Strahan that they were mad at recently because when everybody was putting their hands over their heart during the national anthem, he had his hands, he just had his hands clasped in front of him, and he said he wasn't making a political statement, and I don't think he was.
He probably wasn't thinking at all.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's the thing. People are trigger happy to be angry about something there. So.
Yeah. Well, after this interview with Brock Bowers, it turns out they decided to revoke his media availability immediately after. They say the Raiders ended Bowers' media availability after his answer about the Trump dance, and there is no sign of the video anywhere. It's not on the Raiders' website. It's not on the YouTube page.
Censored.
And the transcript of the interview doesn't include the question or the answer. Why would that question and answer prompt the Raiders to pull the plug on press? Were the Raiders afraid that Bowers would be asked whether he is a Trump supporter? Were they afraid about whatever his answer would be?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. They are afraid, even though there is reportedly a vibe shift going on.
Here's a video.
The culture.
I love this video, which has like 4 separate examples all together. We can't play the music.
Yeah, do they have the Jon Jones?
Yep, in the corner.
Video
Jon Jones was the best. Jon Jones Dance was absolutely the best.
He kind of added his own flair to it.
He did, and then he went and he gave the belt to Trump, which was hilarious.
Yeah, Trump was right there in the front row.
Love it.
God Saad said, this captures a shift in the zeitgeist. It's cool to not openly show support for Trump, for common sense, for reality. The left had complete stronghold on all institutions that shape culture. It will take a generation to eradicate the parasitic ideas and suicidal empathy, but this is a good first step.
Yep.
Do you agree?
What I think
is it as monumental as they think?
I think that it indicates a shift in the culture because 8 years ago you wouldn't have been allowed to positively even meme Trump in the mainstream. You would have had to be it would have to be a dirty little secret in the locker room. You know, like back in the day, don't ask, don't tell. That's basically what it was to be a Trump supporter if you played for a sports team back then. And now the best thing you could do is to have these things show up in the general cultural zeitgeist, not through politics, right? So you shift the culture by moving things away from the political realm and making it acceptable to dance and have fun in regards to Donald Trump rather than speak about him in purely political senses. Because one of the things that I have an issue with most of the time is when, and I'll pull it back to politics a little bit here. Let me go back to that there. Is when they talk about him like he's Hitler. And then they're like, and when we met with him at the White House, which doesn't make any sense at all. The politicians talk about him like he's the second coming of Satan, but then talk about having to work with him. That doesn't make any sense. And the best way that you can prove that that doesn't make any sense is by allowing it to, allowing athletes to prove that he's not Satan. He's just somebody that you can make a joke with.
You're not even going to do the Trump dance now.
No.
What's your problem? You don't want to be a part of the vibe shift?
I don't do the Trump dance.
You don't want to be a part of the zeitgeist?
I'm a rebel, okay?
Okay.
I'll take a knee next time we do this. I'll take a knee.
Like, after Trump announced his first run in 2015, they had him guest on SNL. And do you remember?
He hadn't started tweeting yet.
They had him dancing to Hotline Bling.
I don't think that
at the time, and then when they realized that he actually was a viable candidate after that SNL appearance, is when they shifted their language and they weren't willing to include him in on the joke anymore.
I remember when there was so somebody did like a timeline of like when the media turned on him, and it was after he started kind of putting his Twitter talents to use against candidates.
But
that
he was
they started,
always tweeting the same style.
That it was. I don't remember if it was about candidates, but I think it was when he started giving them nicknames. They're like, "Oh, he's playing dirty." I think that was kind of when the media started making their shift away from treating him, as some type of not fake candidate, but soft candidate who couldn't win to somebody who was viable because the public support started to rally around him when he started giving them all nicknames.
Here were a couple of the responses from those seething turbo libs that you were talking about. Yep. One said, they were screaming for 8 years to keep politics out of sports, but they win one popular vote, and all of a sudden you can't turn on a football game without running into a Trump reference head first. Another one said, so the new rule is that athletes who support Trump don't have to answer any questions about their political beliefs, but when other athletes support political and social causes, they do. Got it. Just trying to figure out where the goalposts are moving next.
Well, actually, make fun of Jameel Hill all you want, but great use of goalposts in a tweet about football.
Fair.
The difference is the journalists that would ask the Colin Kaepernick type athletes questions would want those answers because they largely, in fact, agree with him.
Yeah, those were softball questions that the answers to which make him look good.
And Apollo is right. They still have stop hate in the end zone. So you can't escape it.
One day we are going to stop hate.
Why not add some joy?
We're going to stop hate.
I actually have
We're going to end racism. Did you know that? That's something that we can actually accomplish. We can just end racism.
We could do a whole thing about the creepy vibes I get from the toxic positivity crowd. So when you go through town, through Charlestown, West Virginia, every street on the main thoroughfare is a business-sponsored sign about being kind to other people. And it's the creepiest shit I have ever seen in my entire life. One of them is like, it's from a pest control company. It says, spread love, exterminate hate. And I'm like...
That's a little scary.
It's creepy. And it's like, there is a focus on toxic positivity that just creeps me out.
Well, if you believe that someone like Trump can be hate personified and you want to exterminate hate, where does that leave us?
Yeah. So, guys, embrace it. It's a cultural shift right now, and I think it's good because it does kind of signal in a lot of ways you're not forced to hate America anymore. You're allowed to be okay with America again, at least in the mainstream. You're always allowed to before, but now you don't have to pretend like you hate America just to keep your job, or if you're an NFL player and you score a touchdown. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with getting away from publicly lashing ourselves and having to pretend like we're the worst thing that ever happened to the world, because we are not. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.